Greetings and welcome to another Morrowind of the Month video, celebrating the best mods released from Morrowind each month. And as always, I'm your host, Elf Guy, and today we're going to be looking at some of the best mods of June 2017. And in case you were wondering, we actually didn't have a poll set up for this month, so these are just the mods I picked out for the mod of the month myself. And in total, about 33 new mods were released from Morrowind in June, which is a bit of a drop-off after May, but that's hardly surprising since there's a drop-off in mod releases every June. Partially, I suspect, due to the Morrowind's May Marathon Month competition. But anyway, I picked out 3 mods that I think deserve a mention here. And of course, you can vote for the best mods of July 2017 today, and you'll find a link to our new online poll down in the video description below, along with download links for all of the mods shown here. And we'll be airing the Morrowind's Mod of the Month video for July 2017 in about 2 weeks, so please do remember to vote in the meantime. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. Our mod of the month for June 2017 is none other than Bear Armor Replacer by CemKey. And now this is a really impressive graphical replacer for the iconic Bear Armor of Solstheim, really giving it a new and improved look that better suits the graphical styles of 2017. And to start out with, we're just going to be taking a quick look at this armor being worn by an NPC before we take a more detailed and up-close inspection of it. And right away, you can tell the visual improvements here. For one thing, this armor looks and feels a lot more like actual fur. You'll remember that the vanilla armor was, kind of flat. You didn't see a whole lot of these tufts of fur sticking out, like you do here. Which, given that this is a sort of winter-like environment, you'd think the locals would, keep some of that fur when they were crafting this armor to, stay warm. And you can clearly see evidence of this now. And anyway, taking a closer look at this armor here, you can see my character wearing it, and it's a, really just highly detailed set of armor. I absolutely love what the authors managed to do with this bear armor here. It just looks fantastic. Especially, the bear helm with the, jaws and the paws that land on your shoulders. I just absolutely love the style of this here. Though having said that, I did notice a few translation issues with the English version of this mod. A few of the armor pieces appear to still be in Russian, which causes a minor problem for when you, hover over the name of them. But aside from that rather minor issue, this is simply a fantastic and wonderful replacer that includes normal mapping support for OpenMW, though of course it works perfectly for both OpenMW and vanilla Morrowind, since obviously we're using regular old Morrowind for this video here. And anyway, the amazing quality of this replacer is why this is, without question, our mod of the month for June 2017. And moving on to our second pick for the mod of the month here, we have Weapons and Armor Diversity Overhaul by Pseunomix. And now, truth be told, this is a pretty massive mod, adding an estimated 2,500 new weapons and armors to the leveled list of Morrowind, which you can often find in various shops and being sold by merchant vendors. And now I don't believe this mod actually adds any new models or anything like that, so these are all, variations on the vanilla game weapons and armors, but they do add a great variety where you'll find different types of each weapon that have different effects or have different attributes. You can tell which of these are new by their unique icons that usually have a symbol on them, and to these denote the kind of weapons they are, like sharp weapons, which are denoted by a red plus sign, have extra damage, while light weapons are weapons that, weigh considerably less than their normal weapon counterparts, but at the cost of damage. You can find a ton of different weapons like this, such as a heavy iron mace, a light iron mace, a primed iron mace, and so on and so forth, all of which have different attributes and different values, making it much more interesting when you loot a chest or visit a shop to see what kind of, weapons you'll find. Now I've gathered a few of these weapons here to try and demonstrate some of the differences between them, and you'll notice we have a chitin war axe here, and a heavy chitin war axe, and taking a look at both of these side by side, it's clear that the heavy chitin war axe, obviously weighs a lot more, but also does more damage, and also has a much better, weapon condition, so it can be used for longer periods of time before breaking. It's also worth 119 gold as opposed to 19 gold for the normal axe, which is a pretty big jump. And likewise, you can see 2 iron maces here, one normal and one light, and this is pretty much the exact opposite of the heavy war axe, and that the light mace weighs less and has worse damage and condition, but is still worth more overall in terms of gold. The real kicker here though is the 3 iron warhammers we have, which shows you the range of possibilities included in this mod. You have a heavy warhammer, which has a high condition and weapon damage, as well as a high weight, a normal warhammer, and a bashing warhammer, which has a high damage but otherwise normal weight. And there's just a ton of different possibilities here, and a lot of, variety in the kind of loot that you can find. And I personally just think this is an excellent addition to any game, since it really makes, finding weapons and armors a little more exciting. But before I get ahead of myself, I should mention that you can, of course, find these new weapons and armors out in the game world. such as in smuggler caves or bandit hideouts, dual ruins, and so on and so forth. And they're mixed in with the level loot list, including for Blood Moon and Tribunal, so you'll find them on Solstheim and Morrowind as well. There's a pretty wide variety here, and even at lower levels you might come across some brittle, high-end weapons like Daedric or Glass, but because they're so, brittle, they'll break easily and aren't worth as much as their normal counterparts. Now I've gathered a ton of these new weapons and armors for you to see here, and in total with about 1,500 new weapons and 1,000 or so new armor pieces, there's quite a bit of variety here, including a number of enchanted items that have a variety of enchantments on them. Some are constant effect bonuses like Fortified Destruction, Fortified Speech, or even some really random enchantments like an axe that will allow you to detect keys for up to 25 feet, or a spear that gives you a constant feather bonus so long as you have it equipped. And there's even a mix of weapon combinations here, such as a battle axe that has an enchantment and a heavy bonus combined. And there's just a ton of variety here, and personally I really love mods like this because it makes looting things a lot more fun and interesting. And I'd recommend combining this with other mods like Enhanced Economics 2.0, Loot Well Earned, Diablo 2 inspired magic and unique items, tries alchemical ingredients, and so on and so forth to get a, really diverse looting experience. Of course, keep in mind that you should, use a leveled list merger when using this mod, or really any of those other mods I just mentioned. And anyway, with such an amazing level variety here, it's really no wonder that this is our second pick for the mod of the month for June 2017. Now finally, we have our third choice for the best mod to June 2017, and this time around we have Galaxy Night Sky 4 by Zobator. And this is a pretty simple and straightforward replacer for the Night Skies of Morrowind, using Sky Swirl as a base. And yes, that is actually a requirement here. And in any event, this is a really nice looking replacer that, at least in my personal opinion, fits in pretty well with Morrowind. It is a bit different from the other, Night Sky replacers I've seen out there. It almost seems, I don't know how to put it exactly, perhaps, darker. Like the Night Sky itself feels more realistically dark. I know of a lot of the other replacers I've checked out from Morrowind, they seem to have just a tad brighter, colouring to them. And not to mention, typically more colourful in general, more colour variation with, greens and pinks and things like that. While this is a more straightforward black and blue style sky replacer, slightly more normal looking I would say, though still clearly fantasy based, than your typical Night Sky mod. And regardless, I really like this replacer. It seems to be pretty high resolution, and has just this, vague feeling of coldness about it, like staring out into the depths of space. And this might not have been everyone's, pick for the top 3 mods of June, but I've really, enjoyed checking it out, and I do think it's worth taking a look at if you want a slightly different set of Night Skies in your Morrowind install. But anyway, we've once again come to the end of our showcase here, and as always, don't forget to vote for your favourite mods of July 2017, and I'll see you all next time with our next batch of mods.